Hello and welcome to the Florida Aviation Network. My name is Ron Timmermans. I'm one of the many hosts with the Florida Aviation Network, and we're broadcasting today live and in the clear from the 45th Annual Sun and Fun International Fly-In and Expo at Lakeland Linder International Airport in Lakeland, Florida. We've had a wonderful list of guests that we have enjoyed listening to so far this week, and more to come, telling each of us about their unique role in aviation and their insights to whatever part of aviation they are involved with. We have three international visitors that are joining us this morning now for the next interview, and they are from the Royal Air Force Air Cadets in England. And seated next to me is John Wohlgemuth with the Royal Air Force Cadets. He is the squadron leader, and two of the cadets that are also joining us today, Nadia Cairns and Casey Van Wyck. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's good to have you here. Thank you, John. I'll shake your hands a little bit later. It's a long reach here. So I understand that you've been coming here to Sun and Fun with the Royal Air Force Cadets for a number of years. John, tell us about your role and how long you've been here.
Been here, right. This is my 16th year volunteering at Sun and Fun. My first year was in '97. The camp with the Royal Air Force Cadets started back in '94 when they had 8 cadets, 3 staff. They stayed at Kissimmee, drove down every day, worked in antiques and classics. The year after that, we actually sent just 2 staff over to try and organise somewhere to stay and some, provisions and tents and things. So '96 was the first camp they actually did at the Sun and Fun in the campground. '97 I turned up, took a few years off, come back with one of my squadron commander who had retired by then, who basically was the driving force behind this camp. Saw how the cadets were being embraced by Sun and Fun and the volunteers. Came back as a flight commander, taking the cadets out on the flight line and getting all up to mischief and photo bombing and getting in the papers and having a great time, and eventually now run the camp. So
very good.
Yeah, and it's our 25th anniversary. So
25th year of being represented at Sun and Fun in a volunteer role.
In a volunteer role.
This is wonderful. This is wonderful.
Yeah. So long may it continue.
Back in England, what is it that the Royal Air Force Cadets do and study, and what is your role there?
We're basically formed of squadrons, and they are in the local towns. Possibly between about 30 upwards. I run the Big and Hill Squadron at the historic Battle of Britain Airfield. We've got 100 cadets on the books, and the age range is between sort of the upper age of 12 to 20. The older cadets basically act as staff and basically do all the teaching. We've got a program where they can get proper educational certificates for all the work they do in the aviation studies. They can apply for scholarships, flying scholarships, so there's all sorts of things that they can do. We've got about 41,000+ cadets in the UK.
41,000 cadets?
Just under 1,000 squadrons.
Wow.
That's a big organisation.
It is a big organisation.
Bigger than our Royal Air Force.
It is? Oh wow, that's amazing. So Nadia, how long have you been in the cadet program?
Coming up to about 4 years now.
4 years?
Yeah.
Very good. And what is your role, or what do you like to do in the cadet program?
My role at my squadron, I'm at the same squadron as Squadron Leader Wohlgemuth here, and my role is 2IC, so I'm second in command of a flight. And we've just recently got a new simulator at our squadron, which hopefully I will be running myself along with the squadron leader and a few other experienced members of the ATC. That's what I do at the moment.
Very good. Is this your first year to Sun and Fun? Or
this is my first year, yes, and I hope it will be not the last one either.
When did you arrive?
When did I arrive here?
Here at Sun and Fun, yes.
Last Friday.
Last Friday,
yes.
So you've been here through all the setup and everything. And so you're camped in the campground with the other folks here?
Yes.
Okay, and how many cadets are here at Sun and Fun?
Just over 40 of us, I think.
How many?
Just over 40.
Wow. And so you're representing them along with...
Yeah, absolutely. I represent Julian Military.
Very good. Well, it's good to have you here. And Casey, that's right. Casey, it's your first time here as well?
No, I attended last year's Sun and Fun.
Okay, very good.
It was really good, so I decided to come back for another year.
Okay, well, I'm pleased to hear that. So, are you an aviator?
No, I do a lot of engineering at home and stuff like that, but I'm quite interested in a lot of aircrafts and looking at the different, because I'm into engineering, looking at different mechanical aspects of that, of the aircraft. Yeah.
Okay, very good. And let's see, Nadia, what are you most looking forward to at the air show that you've come to now for your first time?
Networking with people, talking to different members of the aviation industry, whether it's from engineers or pilots or logisticians or anything like that, and just simply seeing what the aviation industry can offer. Because obviously I'm finishing school now, looking on to my next steps, and I'd love to be a pilot. So obviously, as I said, networking, just getting and hearing as many stories as possible, hearing about all the different ways that you can get into the industry, doing whatever career you want, and you're just getting your face and name known and just showing your enthusiasms, and that way people just come up to you and say, hey, look, this is what I did, give it a go, and it's just so thrilling to hear.
And so have you focused in on what you're going to give it a go at?
Yes, absolutely. I've seen a fair few places around here that I would love to speak to more people to, and more places that I'd like to visit that I haven't yet visited. But yeah, definitely pilots are my sort of go-to people at the moment.
Very good. And John, what all do the cadets do here when they're at Sun and Fun? Is it 50 of them that are here, you said?
Got 42 cadets
42
and
cadets.
16 staff.
And 16 staff, okay.
So supporting them and looking after their welfare whilst they're out on the airfield. So what we basically do, we're here volunteers. We basically work in general aircraft camping, parking, and on the warbird ramp, so clearing the warbird ramp before the air show. We also work in registration. You sort of feel that's indoors, why would the cadets want to do that? But it's actually, we are the first face that the general public see when they're coming in, driving in, parking up, and they see our cadets at the registration booth buying their tickets, and the cadets just love talking to the visitors.
Wow, so all of your cadets are in uniform, I imagine.
Oh, yes.
What a great first impression that people that come to Sun and Fun and taxi up and are greeted by one of the Royal Air Force cadets. A wonderful international experience and cooperation between our two countries and between the aviation that binds us all together. That's great, that's great. Well, so let's see, Casey, do you have a favorite part of being the Royal Air Force cadet that you could share with us?
My favourite part of being in the Royal Air Force Cadets has to be the experience of flying that we get. So we get to go up in like small aircrafts, especially gliders is my favourite. Just experiencing with a pilot, just going up in the air, and even sometimes even taking control, depending on who you're with. But that has to be my favourite, and all the different experiences that we get out there with different awards and stuff that you can do, like shooting and other.
So have you taken any flying lessons, or just had the opportunity to fly an airplane informally?
I haven't particularly taken flying lessons, but I've got an opportunity to go up into an aircraft with different RAF pilots at different RAF bases in the UK.
I see. Do you have plans to go into the military, Royal Air Force, after you get out of school, or is that not necessarily in your future?
I'm looking into going to the RAF as a aviation engineer.
Aviation and engineering.
Yeah, I do like fixing things and building things and stuff like that.
Well, that's good. That's good. I'm sure there's plenty of opportunities for being an engineering role with an aviation emphasis. That'll be great. That'll be great. And where are you at in your education, Nadia? How soon to graduation?
I have my exams in June, so yeah, I have a whole awful month of solid exams, and then after that I'm free to hopefully start my career of flying.
Okay, so you're going to do that, or will you go on to another college experience, or what?
So I'm going to take the summer off to complete my scholarships. I've been awarded 2 scholarships. One was with the Air Cadets, ACPS, Air Cadet Pilot Scheme, and another one which is with the Air League, which is kind of like just sort of an aviation organisation where they get to offer different bursaries, whether that's through a uni or through schools, or just different scholarships and just work experience. I've been awarded those, which I'll be completing at Tayside Aviation, which is up in Scotland, both of which offer me up to 12 hours of solo flight. and lessons there, and those hours I can put towards my PPL. So which at the end of the day is what I want to achieve, because that is the best sort of preparation you can get for whether that may be military piloting or commercial or whatever I want to go into.
Very good.
Yeah.
So one of your goals and interim goals is to become a private pilot or earn your private pilot license. And
Yeah, I think in talking short term, that is the first step for me. Completing my PPL and the scholarships I've got are totally the best way I can do that. And then hopefully onto go to military.
very good. Oh, into the military following that, Royal Air Force or some other branch of the
Yes,
service?
no, Royal Air Force is my first option, I think. I did my aptitude testing for the RAF, which I have yet to hear back from. I did that at our headquarters at RAF Cranwell. So that was very interesting, very good fun, very challenging, but absolutely loved it. And if I pass this time, fantastic, but if not, it's a learning experience and you get amazing, good feedback. So I can take that feedback, work on whatever it is I need to work on, and give it another shot in a year's time, and I'll pass it that time.
Very good. I'm sure you'll do well. I'm sure you'll do
hope
well.
so.
John, how about you? Are you an aviator as well?
I did do my private pilot's helicopter license
Helicopter,
a few
okay.
years back now. A little bit expensive, and really haven't got the funds at the moment to continue that, but sort of one of those dreams of saving some money and continuing that. It was great fun.
I see. And do you plan to continue in rotary wing or fixed wing, or not sure yet what you'll do when
Sure,
you...
no.
Okay.
It all depends on the money.
Yeah, well, I hope you're able to amass the funds. That'll be a great thing for you to do. When you come here to Sun and Fun, you stay in the campground then? Do you bring your own camping gear?
Yeah, we're very blessed for the support that Sun and Fun give the cadets. We've got our own campground which backs onto the early birds in the far corner of the campground. Been here so long, we've amassed 3 trailers. 2 of those are for accommodation for our staff. We've got sort of air conditioning and max of 2 people per room. So they've got somewhere quiet that they can go. We're here for a long time, and I know myself, you know, one day you may be sort of just feeling it a little bit, you just need to get away, sit down, reflect, you know, pull yourself together, and then you're back out there and back with the program. But it's, the cadets are under canvas. Sun and Fun put 2 big marquees up for the cadets, male and female, and 2 years ago they laid 2 big concrete slabs to put the marquees on, so that's really good.
Very good.
We used to have some decking, but that rotted away in the Florida sunshine.
I can imagine.
And we've got a nice mess building as well, so we've got undercover for meals and stuff, and that's there permanently. You know, it's there all year round.
Very good.
So without that, this camp really would be very difficult to run. You know,
I'm sure.
To amass all that equipment just for 2 weeks and then try and find somewhere to put it out again, it'd be too much of a headache. So,
I can imagine.
You know, we're really blessed for and also the early birds that look after the our buildings. So yeah.
Very good. So Casey, I heard John say that the staff gets to be in their air-conditioned places, but you're under canvas.
Yeah.
That would be with no air conditioning, I would
Exactly.
imagine. Okay, so how are you adjusting to that? Is that okay?
Yeah, it's good. During the night, it's a bit chilly, so
Yeah.
we have to adjust by getting warm layers on. But other than that, we're kind of used to it because we do a lot of camping and stuff within the Air Cadets. So we get fieldcraft trained, so we're kind of trained for the outdoors environment.
Very good.
Adjusting to the heat is a little bit hard because obviously in England it's a lot colder. So during
Yeah.
the day we're all sweaty and hot, but
Yeah.
in the evenings it's nice and chilled, so we all get a nice relaxing sleep.
Well, being a Florida resident, I would say that it's a benefit that we're doing this in April rather than in July or August. It would be much warmer here and
Yeah.
much more humid, of course, but that's good. So you're enjoying life in the campground under canvas, as John would call it. That's
Yeah,
good.
loving it.
That's good. And Nadia, what is the mix of young men versus young women in your cadets program, both here as well as back at home?
On this current camp, there are far more boys than our girls. But back at home at our squadron, we've got a good mix of boys and girls. I think in our squadron, we've actually got slightly more girls than we do boys, which is always nice to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's becoming much more balanced in the genders, which is good to see. But obviously, usually is male dominated. But yeah, females are coming in hard and strong.
I don't know how to call it male dominated, just there happens to be more males at the time than females, but I'm glad you're making inroads and evening out that percentage. That's great. That's great. So Casey, have you been out there on the Warbird ramp welcoming people as they taxi in and the like, or has you had a different role here this week?
So far what we've done is we've done camping parking and general parking. So I haven't been on the Warbirds ramp yet. But
Okay.
from my experiences from last year, I have to say it has to be my favourite, especially seeing the jets come past and all the tail draggers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But speaking to the public as well, just talking to them about all the different aircrafts there is also amazing, because then they tell me about their experiences and I learn a lot more about your cultures here compared to the British cultures as well. So it's good to speak to everyone, basically.
What's the difference in culture that you've found?
It's a lot different here, especially words, so different pronunciations of words and things like that. Like I was speaking to...
Do you find that we talk with an accent?
Yeah, a very strong accent. But do you find that we speak with an accent?
Just a bit, but a lovely one. I'm enjoying it. That's great. That's great. And Nadia, what have you been working in the camp area as well, or out on the Warbird ramp, or both?
Yeah, so I'm in the same flight as Cadet One Officer here. So yeah, we've been working together. So we have Warbirds this afternoon, which I'm really looking forward to.
Oh, so you're going to be in the Warbird ramp today?
Yeah, this afternoon. Yes, we've
That's
got
good.
that coming up.
Very good. Very good. Well, John, tell me a little bit about the staff that you bring along. You said there are 16 people.
16.
That these are all adult staff
all adult volunteers.
and volunteers.
Some in uniform, some not in uniform. Some we have to have a number of staff that have been before, to know what's going on. But we also try to bring in every year a new group of staff because this camp does cost everybody about £1,000 each to attend this camp. So it's all self-funded, and we do need to make sure that we've got a flow of staff that know exactly what's going on here. So, and also we try and make sure that at least one person per flight, we've got 5 flights, one person in that flight has been before, so they know where everything is, they know all the contacts. And it's a changing environment on the airfield. They need to know what's going on, where everything is. So it's always nice to have somebody there that just knows the ropes.
Very good. How many young people in a flight? You said you have 5 flights here in all. How many? So that's what, about
We've got
8,
about 8,
7 or 8?
8, 9 cadets.
Okay.
It varies, yes. So,
And in a flight, always one person that has been here the year before, like Casey?
Yes, if that's the case, if we've got cadets, and we do get cadets that come, we've had a cadet that's been here 3 years now, and it's a case of, if we can get cadets that have been before evenly distributed over the flight, it just gives the other cadets somebody to talk to if they've got questions, somebody to answer their questions. And with the staff, it's staff, staff can answer the questions as well. So it does really help, but it's also getting the new blood in to continue this camp for another 25 years.
For another 25. I hope you'll keep coming back. This is wonderful. I wasn't aware that you were involved in this, but this is a great international cooperative agreement that we do here, and
that's brilliant.
I'm so glad that you volunteer. So Nadia, I understand from John that he said that you have to raise the funds for coming here, nearly £1,000 for each trip like this. Do you have fundraising activities that you do back home?
Yes, we can do, yeah. So that is generally a squadron-run event, usually. There are different events where certain squadrons can collaborate, but yeah, generally speaking, that is sort of a bit more of a local thing.
So what would be one of, Casey, what would be one of the fundraising events that seems to be the most successful back home?
So we do a lot of quiz nights, and in my squadron we do things like curry nights. So we go out to a restaurant, people pay a little bit more than it would cost to do the meal, and then we do things like raffles and things like that, and working together as a squadron to plan that activity as well.
I see.
You kind of work as a team to make sure that everything runs smoothly and everybody gets the right funds to fund whatever they need.
Well, good. So these are some responsibility training then, John, as to make good citizens as well as good cadets or potentially future cadets for the Royal Air Force. That's great. That's great. Well, let's see. You're staying now till when, John? When do you leave and go back?
We fly back to the UK on Friday the 12th of April.
Oh, so you'll be here
yes.
this next week, all through the week?
Yeah, the cadets are out here for a full 2 weeks. I came out a bit earlier to set the camp up, and the dates vary on the flight costs, because we only charge the cadets £1,000 to come here, and on, I think, Saturday we looked at the flight prices and they were £1,400. If we came out on Friday, I think it was £400.
Isn't that amazing how airfares differ?
So we came out on Friday.
I can understand.
Yeah, we've been taking the cadets to Kennedy Space Centre already. We also went down to Arcadia in DeSoto as a Commonwealth War Grave there, where there's 23 British airmen over here doing flight training back in the Second World War.
Very good.
And 23 didn't make it back home.
Well,
So
thank
we
you
have
for
a
their
service
service,
there,
and I'm
Buddha
sure
Reef, yeah, so-
that's glad that you were able to pay a nice tribute there. That was probably meaningful for your cadets as well as you as well. That's great. That's great. Well, our time has run out. John and Nadia and Casey, thank you so much for being with us. We've enjoyed learning about the Royal Air Force cadets and understanding all that you do here for volunteers. It's great that Sun and Fun is built around a cadre of volunteers and that you're part of them. It's a great thing to know. So it's been wonderful to have you join us for the Florida Aviation Network. My name is Ron Timmermans. I'm one of the many hosts for the Florida Aviation Network, broadcasting to you live and in the clear from the 45th annual International Sun and Fun International Expo and Fly-In. It's good to have you with us, and we hope you'll return for another broadcast later.